Welcome to Real Leaders with Roshini, the podcast with real talk, real questions, real insight, and we hope, real inspiration for real. We're at Capitol Grill in downtown Minneapolis. My guest today is Paul McGuire Grimes. He's a film critic and entertainment reporter. You also may know him from YouTube's Paul's Trip to the Movies. He loves film, and he is a regular contributor for KSTP-TV as well as FM 107 and their various shows talking about films. Paul, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Roshini.
I want to start by talking about some of the people that have been highlights for you to interview.
Right.
And one that I know you've interviewed that is high on my list, and I've never interviewed her, is Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, so I got to interview for her movie Nobody's Fool, which was this Tyler Perry movie. And Whoopi Goldberg is someone that I literally have looked up to since I was a kid. I remember seeing Sister Act 2 Back in the Habit at the Apache 6 Theater when I was a kid. And I love this idea of like singing and being in a show choir. And that movie motivated me to like join our church choir and really start performing. And I really I've been obsessed with movies even before I saw that one, but that was like the one that was like, no, you can do it. And I'll never forget. I watched that movie constantly, and we played the song Joyful, Joyful at our wedding reception. So like that movie means the world to me.
So pivotal.
So pivotal. And then when I got to interview, I kind of started the interview with that story and just like telling her what an inspiration she was to me as like this EGOT and this performer and who she is, and that movie specifically. And like, I'll never forget it. It was just kind of this surreal moment to tell someone that you've looked up to, here's why I've looked up to you and what you've done for me.
Well, and also being a film critic, a lot of people would say you have the dream job, but it's a job. It's a job,
and it's something that I fight for and continue to do and want to make my full-time job. And how do I make that work? And is that a reality? And these are all these questions that I have a lot with my husband, with my family, and how do I make that work, and how do I juggle my corporate job, a part-time job, which we'll talk about in a little bit, as well as doing all the film stuff. And it's a lot, but I love doing it so much that I can't imagine not doing it.
Yeah, it's so part of your life, part of your fabric. You're officially a film critic. You're not just an armchair film critic.
And there's nothing wrong with like being an online blogger or whatnot, and that's how it started. And then I saw an opening at Twin Cities Live, Facebooked the senior producer who I knew from the theater community. I was like, hey, are you looking for someone to keep doing this? And he said, yeah, let's do a screen test. So I came in, did a screen test with Elizabeth Reese, and it went well. And that was 5 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since then. I've kind of fought for other opportunities, put myself out there, just kind of asked for things, not knowing if they would happen. And then things have kind of slowly started happening, and the connections have been made. And
I love that. And what a lot of other real leaders on this podcast tell me is where they see passion, they don't see roadblocks. Right. They just go for it. And it sounds like you've just gone for it.
I've tried to. And if there is a roadblock, I think to myself, how can we get past that? How can I push through that? Is it a demographic thing? Is it a market thing? Is it that we don't have the budget for it? Then how can we work around that and make that work? And sometimes there are failures, and sometimes I don't get what I want, which is life. And how do I keep pushing through it, not letting all those failures get in my way? And something I've only have learned within the last 5 or so years, and I didn't apply that when I was in college trying to be an actor, or even later on in life when I tried to be an actor. And it's just a different branch of that love I have of cinema.
Now, another part of your world, which is a big part of your world, is your journey with weight loss.
Yes.
You say that you grew up a fat kid.
Yes.
You came from a plus-size family, and you say it was just part of your DNA.
Half of my family is the skinny type. They don't worry about food. The other half is a plus-size family that have struggled, and I inherited those genes. So I was fat. I was overweight my entire life. I was made fun of for being overweight, as well as being gay when I didn't know I was gay. And how does that all come together, and how does that all work against each other? And then it was later on in life, after I met my husband, we were dating at the time, and it was Memorial Day weekend, 2011, and we went up to the cabin. I liked working out. I liked running, but I could never lose the weight. It was always this roller coaster, and I was way overweight. And went up to the cabin, binged on beer and pizza, and it was great. But I came back to the gym that Monday, which was kind of routine, weighed myself, and I'd gained 3 pounds in one weekend. And I finally said, enough is enough. Like, I can't keep gaining weight and being overweight and being miserable. And
the psychological roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. What that is. So I said, okay, I don't know. I don't care how much it's going to cost to join Weight Watchers, because my husband had success with it, so I knew that it could work. I don't care how much it's going to cost to join that and join the gym, because that's a financial impact right there. So join all these different programs and, and what would the time be? I was like, okay, I will take off from acting it right now and just do the program. I didn't know how much weight I was going to lose or gain or whatever. So I started going to meetings and I was doing the program diligently, and the weight started coming off and I was getting compliments about how I looked. And that was very rare for me. I didn't know how to accept compliments at the time. And sometimes I still don't know how to accept compliments, but I've learned how to do that. And then 10 months later, I hit my goal weight, which was to lose 75 pounds. And that was very fast. I am that asterisk, the results not typical that you see at the bottom of the screen. Like, that was me. And then I managed to lose 82 pounds total throughout that journey. And that was started the journey Memorial Day weekend 2011, hit my goal weight and what we in the business call lifetime status at Weight Watchers, April 2012. And then have been able to keep most of it off, except for a couple of pounds here or there, which is life, since then. And that is a whole other journey.
That's a huge victory.
It is a huge victory. And I have to, it was very hard to do, and it's still hard to do. It's still hard to keep the weight off. And then in October 2015, I decided to join the company and become a meeting leader. So now I lead meetings every Saturday and try to inspire others for that kind of body positivity, that body mindset, that positive outlook, and to reshape our habits around food and alcohol and activity. And that's not to say that I'm perfect or that the weight is going to stay off, because it certainly doesn't. I still have all of those struggles. I still emotionally overeat and overdrink at times. And it's that constant battle that I still have to face.
So you are what's called a wellness coach.
Yes.
With Weight Watchers.
Yes.
Which I think is a really good word that is now being used for this zone.
Yeah. Weight Watchers really kind of went from just about weight loss to overall wellness, whether it's you're losing weight or kind of shaping your overall wellness and mindset, because it really is this holistic package. It's not just about the food that we eat or how we exercise. It's mindset. So I'm now a wellness coach is my official title. Yes.
What has it been like for you now, being, more within the physical place you want to be, but seeing some of those customers of Weight Watchers back at that beginning of what your journey was?
Because I've gone through it, I can empathize with them. I know what that's like. I know what they're going through. I know what's in their head. And how do I talk to them about that? And it's really reassuring to see them make change and to have a better mindset and to think positively about their body, no matter where they're at in their journey. It's not just you have a better outlook once you've lost the weight. It's throughout the whole thing so that you stay positive to keep going throughout. It helps me along my journey now, because keeping it off for me is a lot harder than it was to lose it. And my members inspire me as much as I think that I may inspire them. Like, they keep me going throughout as well.
There's a lot of talk these days of body shaming. So in that sort of atmosphere, how do you also do this work and not try to leave the impression that skinny is best?
Right. And I always try to just reassure them in the meetings constantly that no matter where you're at, you can feel great. You can feel good. Maybe you're halfway through your journey. Maybe you're starting out, but if you're trying on a new pair of pants or a dress that you've never tried on before, look to that to be your motivation. It's great to, just me personally, to feel like I can look good in a suit or to look in a bathing suit, which I never would have thought before, or to look good on camera. That motivates me too. It's a journey. Some weeks I'm better at that than others. Some weeks I will see an open buffet and just want to go hog wild. Like, those old habits are still in me. Like, you have a spread out right now. I'm like, ooh, that looks good. Oh, wait, let's keep reining this back in again.
Capital Girl always sets up some good food for my guests.
Yes.
And that's the thing. It's a daily choice that you make.
And sometimes it's hourly, and sometimes it's meal by meal. And we talk about that. There are days that are just rough, and I want to come home at the end of the day and just eat my weight in food and drink the night away.
And that's an emotional response.
And that's an emotional response. And what is driving those emotions? Are there other things that I can do, like maybe go for a run, or maybe put on a great movie, or just decompress, turn off social media, turn off the news? I mean, if we're going to get real, this Trump presidency has really affected my emotional response to a lot of this and a lot of emotional overeating and drinking that I do. And how do I realize that and not let him win in that? How do I stay in control of this? And sometimes remembering what goes into my mouth, food and alcohol wise, is sometimes the only thing that I can control. If all of my other things in my life are going out of control, if the calendar's too busy, if we've got too many appointments, wait, maybe the only thing I can be in control of is what I'm eating and drinking. Okay, so that's a victory for today.
That's a victory, and maybe that also helps things seem more in control.
Yes.
For your entire
so
life.
So if I think like, oh, we went out to dinner with my family or with friends and I didn't have dessert, or if I only had one drink, that's a victory. Okay, I can do this. I can face these other things in life that may be getting in my way.
What's your biggest advice for people in general, regardless of size, when it comes to wellness?
Oh man, knowing that you can do it. You can do it no matter what your life is like. If you think you're too busy, that's okay. If you think, I don't know if I can lose weight, or I've tried and I can't do it, try something else. Focus on one thing. I think sometimes we get too focused on like, I need to look at what I'm eating or what I'm drinking or how much activity I'm getting. And they try to do too much. Just focus on one thing. And what's that thing for today? Sometimes you have to really break it down into really small goals or really minute things for you to feel positive.
So those mini victories add up.
Oh, completely. I mean, you can't think, oh my God, I have to lose 100 pounds. I can't do that. That's obscene. Okay, let's break that down. Maybe it's every 5 pounds. Maybe it's what's your goal for this week. Maybe it's just to like do yoga for 15 minutes, or maybe it's just to like get outside. That's a victory, and that adds up after time.
Well, really good stuff, Paul. And I mean, I applaud you for going on the journey, but then now helping so many people.
Thank you.
On their journey, because I think it does take also a certain person who can help others with this.
Right. And thankfully, like, I'm outgoing and I can talk, and I try to keep my meetings really just authentic and real, and it's not to say that other leaders don't, but I just feel like I'm very different. I'm one of the few male leaders here in the Twin Cities. So I feel like there's kind of a niche audience that I have.
As a wellness coach?
Yeah. And I'm somewhat younger than some of the other leaders, and I add a lot of humor and just like remind my members, like, I went on this, like, I'm still juggling with this. I had a relapse too. So I think if they can connect with me on a person to person level and just joke or be sassy in my meetings, I think they like that more than I don't always follow the book. I don't have all of the WW nomenclature or like the vocabulary at the whim or the ready, just because I want to keep it real about what is their journey on a personal level and how that is different from everyone. We all do wellness and we all do weight loss so differently that what may work for one member may not work for someone else. And what worked for me may not work for someone else too. I love running and hot yoga, though, like, that's the activity that I do, but I know that sounds like death to other people. So what do they like to do? And let's focus on that. Like, that is their journey, which is very different than mine and which is very different from someone else's.
All right. So here's the question everyone wants to know. Have you met Oprah?
Everyone asks me that. I have not met Oprah. I would love to meet Oprah. That would be great. Not only because I would love to talk with her about film, but of course, because I think she's a great actress, but also like the overall wellness and weight loss and her journey and my journey, and just have that kind of conversation.
Well, if you two get together, you'll have to bring it on Real Leaders with Roshini.
Yes, I will let you know ASAP.
Well, Paul, thanks so much. It's just been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Really interesting to get that insider's view on that weight loss journey, because I don't think people necessarily, they may have some victories, but they won't always share the journey.
And know what those victories are, and be proud of yourself no matter where they are. I think sometimes maybe it's a Minnesota thing, maybe it's, I don't know what it is, Midwest, but I think we have a victory or we get a compliment, but then we do the yes, but. Like, just put the period at the end of the thank you, or that was great. I feel proud of this. Don't let anyone else get in your way. Just say thank you. Don't say, oh, thanks for the compliment, but I feel like crap today, or thanks, but I've been sick. No, just say thank you. They like you in this dresser suit, say thank you.
And I will say thank you, Paul McGuire Grimes, for brightening our world today.
Thank you for having me.
Until next time, keep it real.